As he was pacing back and forth in his study, the old banker remembered how it all happened. At his mansion 15 years ago, he held a party. The guests held high positions socially and professionally. Some were lawyers, journalists, and wealthy businessmen. It was when a philosophical question arose. What is more humane, capital punishment or life imprisonment? Opinions on the matter varied, until a young lawyer said,
"The death sentence and the life imprisonment are equally immoral. But if I had to choose between the death penalty and imprisonment for life, I would certainly choose the latter. To live anyhow is better than not at all."
The discussion took another turn and became more lively, as both the banker and the lawyer argued. A senseless bet came to life. The bet stated the following. If the lawyer spends 15 years in a solitary confinement, the bankers ought to pay him 2 million rubles. The banker, recalling all of this, questioned why it all happened. He asked himself,
what was the object of that bet? What is the good of that man's losing 15 years of his life and my throwing away 2 million? Can it prove that the death penalty is better or worse than imprisonment for life? No, no. It was all nonsensical and meaningless. On my part, it was the caprice of a pampered man, and on his part, simple greed for money.
Under the strictest supervision in one of the lodges of the banker's garden, it was then agreed that the lawyer isn't free to cross the threshold of the lodge. He must not see human beings or hear any human voice or receive letters. He only had access to a musical instrument, books, wine, and tobacco in any quantity he desired. Starting from November 14th, 1870 at 12 o'clock and ending on November 14th, 1885 at 12 o'clock. Then it began. During the years of the lawyer's voluntary imprisonment, the piano was heard from the lodge, and sometimes it would turn dead silent. He read an enormous amount of books and volumes discussing different subjects and in various fields. He even spent a whole year reading only the gospel. He spent nights awake, writing, and the guards would sometimes hear him weep in his bed. He suffered from unbearable loneliness and depression. Years ago, the banker had millions beyond his reckoning. As time went by, his fortune saw a deficit, and he trembled at every rise and fall in the market. In anger, he bursted out that the only way to be saved from bankruptcy and disgrace is to murder the imprisoned lawyer. When everyone was asleep, and the clock struck 3, the banker set out to execute his plan. When he arrived in the darkness, he tapped on the window to get the lawyer's attention, but failed. The rusty door creaked as he opened it, as it has not been opened in 15 years. He found the lawyer, pale, lanky, with a shaggy, clumpy beard and long hair. He was asleep, and beside him, a sheet of paper. The banker decided to read it before carrying out the murder. The letter he found left him speechless and in self-contempt. It said the following.
"Tomorrow at 12 o'clock I regain my freedom and the right to associate with other men. But before I leave this room and see the sunshine, I think it necessary to say a few words to you. With a clear conscience I tell you, as before God, who beholds me, that I despise freedom and life and health, and all that in your books is called the good things of the world. For 15 years I have been intently studying earthly life. In your books I have drunk fragrant wine, I have sung songs, I have hunted stags and wild boars in the forests. I have loved women. Your books have given me wisdom. All that the unresting thought of man has created in the ages is compressed into a small compass in my brain. and I despise your books. I despise wisdom and the blessings of this world. It is all worthless, fleeting, illusory, and deceptive, like a mirage. You have lost your reason and taken the wrong path. To prove to you in action how I despise all that you live by, I renounce the 2 million of which I once dreamed as of paradise, and which now I despise. To deprive myself of the right to the money, I shall go out from here 5 hours before the time fixed, and so break the compact.
The banker, drowning in tears, kissed the strange man on the head and left him. When he got home, he laid on his bed, but his tears and emotion kept him for hours from sleeping. Next morning, watchmen rushed in with pale faces, telling the banker that the lawyer left the lodge through the window, went to the gate, and disappeared. To avoid unnecessary talk, he took from the table the writing in which the millions were renounced, and when he got home, he locked it up in a fireproof safe.